So the High Republic has been out for a couple weeks now. We've entered the golden age of both the Republic and the Jedi when both organizations were supposedly at their best. Last week, one of my patrons, Brandon Velasquez, asked me how the Jedi of the prequel era would have handled something like the Great Disaster, and I had a realization. We've actually kind of seen how they would handle a very similar situation. So in Light of the Jedi, a ship explodes in hyperspace, sending its debris out, and most of the action is centered around the Hetzal system. It had a population of 40 billion people, but was also highly agricultural. One of its main exports was a new healing substance called Bacta. Of course, we know exactly what Bacta is, but at this point in time, it is a rare and precious commodity, something that could change the galaxy for the better. And that's absolutely something that comes up during the Great Disaster and the rescue of the Hetzal system, but it's also never the point. The Jedi and the Republic hear a distress call. They hear people who need help, and they show up, ready to act, no questions asked. They can't save everyone, and they lose some of their own, but without question, they swoop in and save the day as best they can. I find it interesting that looking back almost 2 years, we can see something similar going on. The story Dooku Jedi Lost takes us about 3/4 of the way to the time of the Phantom Menace, 50 years before Episode 1. Dooku is Yoda's Padawan at this point, and his good friend, Sifo Dyas, has a vision that the planet Proto Branch will be hit by a freak disaster that will cause a fire to burn across continents. The Jedi Council is very wary to do anything with information that comes to them from a vision, much to the frustration of Dooku, Sifo Dyas, and Sifo Dyas' master, Leen Kostana. So while the council meditates, Kostana goes straight to Proto Branch's senator, which forces the Jedi into visiting the planet to check things out. And of course, disaster strikes, many lives are lost, but the handful of Jedi that were there are able to help a bit. And wouldn't you know it, but Proto Branch at this point in time is a major supplier of Bacta, and Dooku notes that the Republic, the Jedi, and even the leadership of Proto Branch all seem to be more concerned about Bacta and the economy, instead of the loss of life through the disaster. Of course, he's also quick to point out that if the Jedi hadn't been forced into acting, Sifo Dyas' vision would have come to a complete and horrible realization. Now, this parallel might be a coincidence, but I doubt it. Dooku Jedi Lost was written by High Republic author Cavan Scott. In fact, I think it was the very first Star Wars story to reference the High Republic era shortly after Project Luminous was announced. In my interview with Charles Soule, he said that they had all 3 phases of the High Republic largely planned out before ever putting pen to paper. I think Cavan Scott made a deliberate decision to show the Jedi Council be presented with a slightly similar crisis, and we would get to see how they handled it. Of course, I should point out that the Jedi in Dooku Jedi Lost aren't responding to a call for help, they're responding to a vision of the future. I admit that's different. But Yoda makes a big deal about that vision, and he chastises Dooku and his eagerness to rush into action. From everything we've heard from authors and even just from reading the stories, I think it's easy to see we're going to find out what happened to the Jedi, what made them less flexible and more dogmatic, and that one segment of Dooku Jedi Lost just jumped out and all of a sudden seems really important to me ever since Brandon reminded me about it. The parallels seem too deliberate, and Yoda is the big link between then and now. We haven't seen him a whole lot yet in the High Republic, so I'm kind of guessing now, but I think we're going to see the Jedi face some consequences for, as Yoda puts it, their eagerness to rush into action. They were right to do so in the Hetzal system, but maybe that's going to set a precedent with them during a very tumultuous time. The Jedi and the Republic are venturing into the Outer Rim, and that's an area of space they don't fully understand. We've already seen in the comic that there are consequences to their arrival, messing with the ecology of an entire area of the galaxy. The Republic and the Jedi don't understand the culture of the Outer Rim, they don't understand the wildlife, they definitely don't understand the Nile. The entire point is that they are so chaotic the Jedi don't know how to combat them. And now I'm going to get into some slight spoilers for the very end of Light of the Jedi, just a heads up, but the final pages show us Jedi Master Elzar Mann having a horrible vision in the future. My first reaction to that was, oh, he's probably going to keep that to himself, because again, Dooku Jedi Lost tells us that the Jedi Order isn't too keen on visions. They even have a correctional facility for Jedi that have visions. So what happened there? Why are the Jedi so afraid of visions of the future? Maybe Elzar actually does take his vision to the Council, and they do everything they can to prevent it. But by doing so, they could accidentally make things worse, and that could slow down their desire to just act and help out of instinct. They could cling to the code more strongly and more literally, again making them more dogmatic. The Jedi of the High Republic seem more concerned with the spirit of their code rather than following it to the literal letter. Stuff like that always reminds me of stories in real religions, where people become more concerned with the nitty-gritty rules, but ignore the obvious and blatant ones their beliefs were based on, the big stuff like loving and taking care of those around you. It's all just speculation right now, but I am definitely preparing myself for the story of the High Republic to ultimately be a tragedy. The Jedi and the Republic will, of course, triumph over the Nihil, the Drengir, and any other danger that presents itself, but it will come at a great cost. What do you think might happen to the Jedi over the course of the next 3 phases of storytelling? Let me know in the comments. If you haven't already, please like this video, subscribe to the channel to keep up with all of our High Republic coverage, follow us on Twitch, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, and consider checking out our Patreon page. As always, thanks for watching, and may the Force be with you.